Alright folks, so here is a tricky thing to do in Blender. The UI is a bit difficult for that, and there's not plenty of tutorials about that. I think specifically I've never found anything about that, just related but not exactly. So here is the thing, I want to bring some waves from, transfer waves from just one bone. For example, this one, the other one is symmetric, so it's cheekbone left from this mesh to this mesh, which is a ghost muzzle for some facial rig setup, universal sonic mount rig, by the way. So here I could wave paint, I could transfer the right in other ways, but this will transfer everything and it will override, and maybe this is good, but in this case I just want one single transfer wave. And so the simplest way I found to do this, so the problem here is that this part here has a bug in Blender 4.3, I think, that, or 4.3.2, that with the mirror modifier often we start wave painting, it doesn't work, it goes to the other side. So this is why I have this inversion. It's bizarre. So now it's very hard to fix this, actually, because it automates, regenerates, it doesn't allow the naming, is super complicated. So it's not the problem here. So I hope they fix this soon, very soon. So the thing here is that I'm gonna pick this mesh, and then actually this way is the opposite one. We got this mesh and then the source mesh as the active, because we're gonna do this not from wave paint mode but from the object mode with the link transfer data and transfer mesh data. And so this I've added to, right, I've added this to quick favorites because it's very good to wave paint, for instance. Right, so transfer, so this is the active, differently from the wave paint mode where we use, if we want transfer waves, we want to be on the active, is the mesh that is the destination, right? So we're gonna, okay, the destination, then the source on object mode here, then transfer mesh data, and so now vertex groups, yes, and then last operation region, then of course usually nearest face interpolated, object transforms, yeah, we want to ignore the poses, we just want the rest positions, binding pose states of the meshes, right? Then here is the thing, so now instead of using source layer, just the active is cheekbone left. Yeah, I want this one, and I want to bring it, because this is the correct one for this mesh, but it's incorrect for the other one. So active layer, yes, source, the active one, and destination layer by name. So that will look like that. Oh, what will do? Well, it will bring the active to, it will generate the layer if it doesn't exist and replace. I think that's it. So it will look for all the names, and if you have active layer, I think it will not work, it will not generate. So I'm not totally sure, but I know that this worked out. So now let's check what happened. Actually, okay, let's just check here the, okay, so this is what I have here. I suspect it might not have worked because of the bug. Yeah, it well, turns out that maybe the bone is too far. but this is because of subdivisions. Okay, maybe I can do something about this. Yeah, so the waves weren't, but the bones seem to be existing, right? The vertex groups, they exist. So let's try again. So this to here, then transfer mesh data, which is object, transfer mesh data, transfer mesh data. Okay, then vertex groups, just I want that, so that is more interesting because we can decide, we can isolate what we want to transfer. Otherwise, transfer, yeah, there are other methods that would transfer everything, right? Like duplicating objects, right? Sometimes it's not good, right? So active layer, yes, this time this is active. Then by name, yeah, so I think that will be it. Then replace. Let's be careful, because if we invert that, it will be, oh, now it seems that it worked. Yes, finally. So I don't know, maybe it needed to override some data before, or the location here was, I've added the edge creases, maybe helped, because this has a subdivision that might not need to be like that, right? This should be enough in this low poly character. But then with more, it's actually important because of the shrink wrap feature of the bone constraints. They, if it's not too smooth, then it will, the bone might be jumpy. Alright, so here we got that transfer. And so that's a single one with its mirrored vertex group, right? That's it. Please like, subscribe, folks, if you enjoyed the content.